So you're going to have 0% enrollment tailwind, and you're going to have a negative something per enrollee spending. So those two things combined is going to be a negative setup heading into fourth quarter this year and into 16. So all that outperformance, it's unwinding here. Healthcare is, on a 3-month basis, is now negative in terms of the percentage change, and is really rapidly approaching zero on a 1 year. So I think all those meetings you're going to have in the next day or two, you should really be looking in the whites of their eyes and saying, are you doubling down on this? Because healthcare has that traditional defensiveness. I think is you should be short everything basically. It's like I think.
Well, what happened? I mean, if you look at the market, this is why I think it's such an interesting, timely, and topical discussion. I mean, for macro people to be looking at healthcare on the short side, there is, maybe other than Apple, there's no more widely owned exposure in the U.S. stock market that is consensus. And if you think about it in terms of rate of change, I mean, an epic ramp should equal multiple expansion, but equally relevant is multiple compression when that ramp gets comped.
Right.
So I think it's a really interesting time to be bearish on healthcare. I don't know if anybody's bearish on healthcare. People aren't bearish on Apple, they're not bearish on healthcare, and they're not bearish on the banks. So
yeah, I'd say
what I like.
From the folks that I've talked to on the buy side, the customers and the prospects that we've talked to over the last 3 months, I would say 6 months ago, absolutely nobody cared. And at this point, with the stocks, red in their face, there's definitely a lot more interest on the short side, and a couple of proactive guys who are, who we met in San Francisco and other places when we were doing meetings last week. They were really happy, right? Because they caught this. They were negative biotech, they were negative XY, whatever it was. But yeah, there's not a lot of people who there's definitely a lot more sniffing around on some of the calls that we made on the short side.